You want to kill your laziness, then stop making deals with your own mind. That's where it all begins. The negotiation, that little voice that creeps in and whispers, you can start tomorrow, or you're tired, you need a break. It's seductive. It sounds reasonable. It tells you everything you want to hear, but it's a liar. It's the same voice that's held you back 100 times before. And every time you listen, you give it power. You surrender. You reinforce the habit of quitting before you even start. Here's the true thing. Your mind is a battlefield. It's not neutral. It's either working for you or against you, depending on how you've trained it. And most people, they've trained their minds to be soft, to seek comfort, to avoid struggle. That's how laziness wins. Not in the big moments, but in the small ones. In the first 5 seconds when your alarm rings and you reach over to snooze instead of rising like a warrior. In those silent moments when no one's watching and you choose the couch over your goals. That's where laziness grows. In quiet compromise, you've got to stop making it optional. You've got to stop giving yourself an escape route. Burn the boats. Act like there's no tomorrow, because sometimes there isn't. You owe many chances. You only get so many sunrises, so many days to wake up and change your life. And every time you say, not today, you're gambling that you'll get another shot. But the clock doesn't care. Time keeps moving whether you do or not. So when that voice tells you to slow down, get louder, when it tells you to take the day off, move faster. That's the only way to rewire your brain, to show it that you're the one in charge, that comfort doesn't own you anymore, that your goals are stronger than your excuses. You want freedom, you want power, you want to feel alive. Then stop negotiating. Just decide that your feelings don't get a vote. Decide that your mind doesn't get to run the show unless it's aligned with your mission. Be brutal about it. Be relentless. That's what it takes. The world doesn't reward soft talk. It rewards execution. It rewards showing up. It rewards the person who does what needs to be done, regardless of how they feel. And if you want to be that person, if you really want to destroy laziness, you have to become the person who doesn't even entertain the conversation. You wake up, you move, you don't sit there thinking, you don't scroll. You don't wait for energy or motivation or some magical spark to light you up. You are the spark. You are the engine. Everything you need is already in you. You've just let it get buried under years of comfort, distraction, and self-doubt. Time to dig it out. Time to shut down the lies and show up like your life depends on it. Because it does. There are people who will never reach their potential because they keep believing the excuses their mind feeds them. Don't be one of them. End the negotiation. Start the work. Every time you win that mental battle, even in the smallest way, you're building a new identity. One where you don't ask, should I? You just do. That's how you kill laziness. Not all at once, but one refusal at a time, one action at a time, one moment of silence where you could have talked yourself out of it, and instead you moved. That's power. That's freedom. That's what changes your life. Motivation is a liar. It's that fleeting energy that shows up once in a while, just long enough to make you feel inspired. And then it vanishes. You know it. You felt it. One day, you're fired up, ready to go to war with your goals. You make plans, you write lists, you post quotes, and you swear this time it'll be different. And the next day, nothing. That fire's gone. The comfort sneaks back in. You hit snooze. You skip the gym. You tell yourself you'll get on track tomorrow. That's what motivation does. It teases you. It gets you excited, but it never sticks around long enough to get anything real done. So here's the deal. You don't need motivation. You need discipline. A discipline is the thing that gets you up when you're tired. Discipline is what moves your feet when your mind is making excuses. It's the cold, boring, repetitive action that most people run from, but it's the exact thing that builds legends. You can't rely on how you feel. You have to rely on what you've decided. And if your decision is that you're going to win, then it means showing up even when the feeling is gone, especially when the feeling is gone. Discipline is the bridge between your current reality and the version of you that's locked behind months or years of work. And every time you take action without waiting to feel like it, you get closer. Discipline doesn't care if you're scared. It doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if you're busy. It just says, show up, do the work, keep going. No drama, no noise, just grind. The problem is we've been taught to chase the high. We think we need to feel good to do good, but that's not real life. Real life is full of days where you feel flat, uninspired, overwhelmed. And it's in those exact moments that discipline separates winners from talkers. The people who actually build something, who transform themselves, who change their lives, they're the ones who act without emotion. They've trained themselves to respond, not react. They don't wait for the stars to align. They align themselves through action. Every time you rely on motivation, you're gambling with your future because you're depending on something that you don't control. But discipline, that's built, that's earned, that's a system. You wake up at the same time, you do the reps, even if you hate them. You keep promises to yourself, even when nobody's watching. That's the work. That's how you create a version of yourself you actually respect. Look around, the people who are crushing it, they're not the ones who are always hyped up. They're the ones who are consistent, quiet, focused, relentless. That's the path. It's not pretty. It's not flashy, but it works. And the crazy part, once you start living with discipline, you stop needing motivation because now your identity changes. You're no longer someone who waits to feel ready. You become someone who just does what needs to be done every damn day. And guess what? That discipline you build starts to bleed into everything. You eat better, you train harder, you think clearer, you stop lying to yourself, and people notice. They feel your energy shift, but most importantly, you feel it. You start to trust yourself. You start to believe that maybe, just maybe, you're not the lazy, weak version of yourself you used to be. You're someone else now, someone stronger. So if you're still out there chasing motivation, stop. Chase discipline. Build structure. Show up when it sucks. That's the secret. That's the code. That's how you win. Every single day, you're standing at a fork in the road. One path leads to comfort. The other leads to growth. And most people, they choose comfort without even realizing it. They pick the easy route, the warm bed, the skipped workout, the mindless scrolling, the avoidance of hard conversations, because growth is painful, progress is uncomfortable. But here's the truth. The things that make you better never feel good in the moment. They challenge you. They rip you apart. They expose your weaknesses. And that's exactly why they work. Comfort is a drug. It's addictive. It feels good, but it kills you slowly. Not in a dramatic way. No. It's subtle. It lulls you to sleep. It makes you okay with average. And before you know it, you've spent years living the same day over and over again. No risk, no evolution, just existence. That's not life. That's survival. And survival mode is not where greatness lies. You want to grow. You want to level up. then you've got to do what others won't. You've got to step into the fire. You've got to seek discomfort like a warrior walking into battle. Every time you choose comfort over progress, you're choosing short-term pleasure over long-term success. Think about that. You're trading your dreams for a little bit of ease. That moment when you skip the workout because you're tired, you just robbed your future self. That second you avoid the challenge because it's scary, you just told yourself you're not built for more. And that lie compounds. It becomes your reality. But the good news is the opposite is also true. Every time you do the hard thing, even when it sucks, you're building something stronger inside of you, something real, something unshakable. Growth hurts. It's supposed to. You can't build muscle without tearing the fibers first. You can't sharpen a blade without grinding it against stone. You want a better life, then you need better choices. You need to say yes to the gym when your whole body says no. You need to work on your goals when no one is watching. You need to sit with your pain and let it fuel you instead of break you. That's the difference between comfort and growth. One keeps you safe, the other makes you strong. The world is filled with people who stay stuck because they keep choosing what feels good right now. But if you can flip that, if you can get addicted to effort, if you can start craving the grind, you become dangerous. You become unstoppable because now your success is not dependent on your mood. It's built on habit, on grit, on the refusal to take the easy way out. Let's be real. There's no achievement, no transformation, no breakthrough that happens without pain. You don't become more by doing less. You become more by enduring more. That doesn't mean burn out. That means push your limits, test yourself, find the edges of your comfort zone and step past them every single day. That's how you grow, not in a flash, not overnight, but slowly, painfully. It's deliberately. You chip away at who you were until there's nothing left, but who you were meant to be. So every time you feel that pull toward the easier choice, recognize it for what it is, as a trap, a test, your signal to go the other way, to lean into the discomfort, to face it, conquer it, and use it. That's where the magic happens. That's where greatness is built, in the decision to embrace the pain instead of running from it. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's the only way you'll ever become who you truly are. Laziness doesn't come from being weak. It comes from repetition, from years of making small decisions that feel harmless in the moment. You skip a task here, delay a workout there, ignore responsibility because it's just one day. But that one day turns into a pattern, and before you know it, it's your identity. You've rehearsed it so many times that it feels normal, comfortable, expected. But here's the truth no one wants to admit. Laziness is not a permanent trait. It's a behavior that you allowed to grow roots. And if you built it, you can destroy it. The first thing you've got to do is stop lying to yourself. Stop saying you're tired when you've barely pushed yourself. Stop saying you don't have time when you've spent hours scrolling. Own it. Accept it. Face the fact that you've let yourself drift into a version of you that's smaller than what you're capable of. And then make the choice, the real, uncomfortable, scary choice to change. Because nothing's going to shift until you do. You don't break laziness by thinking about it. You don't analyze it, journal about it, or talk it away. You break it with action, with aggression, with a decision to do the hard thing, not once, but over and over until the pattern is shattered. You fight fire with fire. You stop waiting to feel ready and you move with purpose. You start the workout even when you're exhausted. You sit down to create even when your brain says there's no point. You wake up early and attack your goals before the sun comes up. Because how you send a message to your mind that the old version of you is dead. It's going to suck. Of course it is. You're going against everything your body and brain are used to. You're fighting a version of yourself that's been in control for a long time. But here's the difference between those who stay stuck and those who break free. One group believes the discomfort is a reason to stop. The other sees it as a sign they're on the right path. That pain, that resistance, that's the signal that change is happening. People always talk about motivation like it's the spark that starts the fire, but what really burns down laziness is momentum, movement, repetition, doing the hard thing over and over until it stops being hard, until it becomes who you are. And every single time you choose to act instead of delay, even if it's just for 10 minutes, you're taking a sledgehammer to the wall that laziness built around your potential. It won't happen in a day. It won't be easy. You'll want to quit. You'll have setbacks. But that's the point. You're rewiring your brain. You're replacing one habit with another. You're tearing down the version of you that settles, that hides, that waits. And in its place, you're building a machine, someone who acts, who decides, who doesn't need perfect conditions to make progress. So stop saying you're lazy. You're not lazy. You're trained. You've trained yourself to delay, avoid, and escape. Now it's time to train in the opposite direction. Get uncomfortable. Get consistent. Do something small every day that makes you stronger. Stack wins. Build discipline. Create momentum. Laziness only wins if you keep feeding it. Starve it. Starve it with action. Starve it with consistency. Starve it until it dies. And the only thing left is someone who shows up no matter what. Most people think they need to wait until everything feels right before they act. They think success comes when they're motivated. It's when they're rested, when the stars align and the energy is perfect. That's a lie. That's a fantasy. Life doesn't care how you feel. It's not going to pause while you get in the mood. You either show up or you don't. And the ones who win, the ones who rise, they're the ones who act when it's hard, when it's cold, when they're tired. One goal. It's when it's the last thing they want to do. That's where the growth is. That's where the edge is. You want to separate yourself. You want to become someone different. Then you need to move when everything in you is telling you to sit down. Doing it when it's hard isn't about punishment. It's about power. It's about proving to yourself that you're in control, not your emotions. Emotions are unstable. They change by the hour. 1 minute you feel like a beast, and the next you feel like nothing matters. If you build your life around your emotions, you'll never build anything real. You'll start and stop 1,000 times. You'll be the person with all the potential and nothing to show for it. But if you can build the discipline to act when you're low, when you're exhausted, frustrated, scared, you become untouchable. Because now you've taken away the one thing that holds most people back waiting to feel ready. There are going to be days where you don't want to do anything. Days when you question everything. You'll feel invisible. You'll feel like the world's passing you by. And in that moment, you have two choices. You can sit in the pain, make excuses, tell yourself you'll try again tomorrow, or you can stand up. You can take one small step forward, one rep, one phone call, one page. That's it, because it's easy, not because it feels good, but because it's the only way out. Action kills anxiety. Action kills self-doubt. Action rewrites your story. People talk about mindset like it's some magic formula, like you just wake up one day with confidence and fire. It doesn't work like that. Mindset is built by doing hard things again and again until the hard things start to feel normal, until you stop hesitating, until you stop needing to be in a certain mood to execute. That's when you become dangerous. That's when people start to notice a different energy around you because they're waiting for permission and you're out there creating results. You can't fake this. You can't shortcut it. If you want to level up, you've got to earn it through sweat and silence, through showing up on the days when nobody would blame you for quitting, through pushing 1 inch further when your legs are shaking and your mind is screaming for rest. That's not burnout. That's not abuse. That's sharpening. That's carving out a stronger version of yourself. You don't find that version by doing easy things. You find it in the grind, in the effort, in the decision to rise when every cell in your body tells you to fall back. So don't wait for the perfect time. It's not coming. Don't wait for motivation. It won't last. Don't wait for someone to push you. Push yourself. That's how you grow. That's how you build a life you can be proud of. Not by showing up when it's convenient, but by showing up when it's hard again and again and again. Everyone loves to admire the successful. People look at the ones who've made it. The athletes, the creators, the business minds, and they try to figure out what makes them special. They search for the secret. Was it talent? Was it luck? Some rare opportunity no one else got? No. The truth is a lot simpler, and it's a lot harder. It was consistency, just showing up every single day, even when it sucked. Especially when it sucked, it wasn't about being the smartest or strongest. It was about not quitting. Consistency doesn't look impressive in the beginning. It's quiet. It's repetitive. It's doing the same thing over and over with no applause. It's waking up early when no one's watching. It's practicing when no one's cheering. It's grinding through the boring, the uncomfortable, the unsexy parts of progress. Most people can't do that. They want the results, but they don't want the silence. They don't want the days where nothing seems to be working. So they give up. They pivot. They start over, and they stay stuck in a loop. Always busy, never building. You want to make something real, then get consistent. Decide what matters and then show up for it every day.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's raining, if you're tired, if you're uninspired, you show up. That's the difference. That's the separator, not the hype, not the big moments. The repetition, the grind, the refusal to skip steps, even when no one's keeping score. You see someone with a great body, you see the discipline, but what you're really looking at is years of effort, thousands of small decisions, early mornings, late nights, saying no to things that didn't serve the goal. That's what consistency creates. Results that compound. You don't see it at first. For weeks or months, it might feel like you're getting nowhere, but if you keep stacking those days, the momentum becomes unstoppable. It turns into something bigger than motivation or willpower. It becomes your identity. That's when it gets dangerous. When showing up becomes who you are, not just something you do. Because now, quitting isn't even an option. You've wired your brain to expect effort, to crave it. You start to feel uncomfortable without the grind. You build momentum, and momentum is a powerful thing. Once you've got it, you don't need to rely on hype or motivation. You've got them. You've rhythm. You've got systems. You've got a track record of showing up. And that's what gets results. The world doesn't reward intention. It rewards execution. Everyone has ideas. Everyone talks about what they're going to do. The ones who win are the ones who do it every day without fail. They don't look for the easy way. They don't bounce from goal to goal. They pick a target and they hammer at it until it cracks. And when it cracks, they keep swinging. That's how you break through. Success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently. One rep, one page, one conversation, one step at a time. It's boring, it's repetitive, and it's brutal. But that's the point. If it were easy, everyone would do it. So when you're in it, when you're grinding and no one sees it, remember this: every day you show up, you're separating yourself from the pack. You're earning something real, not overnight, not by luck, but by discipline, by consistency. And that's how you win